Hello, beautiful souls. How are you? This is Luna Ora. So we are getting back to our sex magic talk, and I haven't done a sex magic video in a while because there's so much else that's going on in the collective to talk about all the time. And I'm always trying to give what the collective is needed in that moment. So today we're going to talk again about sacred sexual energy, soul ties, how to heal it, activate it, empower it. And we're going to get into the nitty gritty and the ugly stuff as well, as always, stuff that other people don't want to talk about. So before we go deeper, I want you to actually ask yourself if you're ready for this conversation. Because honestly, if you're really honest with yourself, most people are not ready for this conversation. Most people do not want to know, just like most people don't want to know what's in their food. Most people don't want to know that when they're eating their steak or their dairy cheese, it's actually giving them cancer. Most people don't want to know that when they're having sex with someone, it can cause so much damage to their physical, emotional, spiritual body, karma, etc. So, are you actually ready for this conversation? Do you want to know the truth? Very few people want to know the actual truth. Most humans want to know the fake truth or the pretty truth or the fluffy truth or whatever truth works for them right now for the story that they've built up in their persona right now. But are you actually ready for the truth? And are you also ready? Because if you know the truth, you're going to have to go very deep into your own shadows. So, are you ready? I think that most people on this channel are ready in one way or another. And I am just here to give the truth, no matter how hard it is, no matter how beautiful it is, and with hopes that we can evolve as humanity. If you haven't read my books yet, what are you waiting for? Get Sex Magic Evolution book first. I always recommend that book first, and then you can go on to the other books. Although if you are called to go to other books, please do so, because I have many people who started with another book and got to actually Sex Magic Evolution last. So if you're in a couple, Sex Magic Evolution is great to read together as a couple. I have many couples who say they read it together before bedtime, and it's really, really sweet. So I want to again say this is not going to be a surfer level, self-care video, as you know me. So this is the real work, and it's going to make you maybe squirm a little bit, but that's a good thing. So don't worry about that. So I have spent, as you know, if you've been following me for a while, I've spent many years as a sex priestess doing sex magic work with individuals and couples. And no, this is not sex work. This is sex magic work. This is sacred work. So, I am not having sex with clients. That's absolutely not. I feel like I have to be clear about that because, you have no idea what kind of emails and messages I'm getting from people. You do not want to know. So I have spent time in sacred spaces with so many people, and men, women, couples, people discovering themselves, helping them reclaim their sexual and life energy, especially after trauma. And here's what I know to be true. Your sexuality is not separated from your spirituality. They are the same thing. It's not separated from your bank account. No. It's not separated from your creative projects or your relationships or your sense of purpose. It is all connected. So today we're going to talk about energetic exchange during sex. And I'm going to be straight with you because this is going to get uncomfortable and it might piss you off. But if you stay with me, you're going to understand why your body feels the way that it does after being intimate with certain people. Why some connections drain you and others light you up. And why sex can be the most healing thing in the world, or the thing that keeps you stuck in cycles you cannot break. So first, let's talk about the invisible exchange. We're going to start here. Every single person that you encounter has an energetic field, all right? Think of it like an atmosphere that surrounds them, made up of their unhealed trauma, their addictions, their shadows, their beliefs about themselves, their ancestral patterns, their demons, obviously, which I talk about a lot. And yes, I mean both metaphorically and literally, because most people have actual demonic entities in their bodies. But again, I talk about this in other videos. And also their light, their medicine, and their gifts. So we're connecting with all the range of that person when we are uniting with them sexually. When you hug someone, you touch that field. When you have a deep conversation, you exchange within that field. But when you have sex, you're merging fields entirely. You're opening the gates. You're saying, come all the way in, literally. And here's where people get it twisted. So we've been sold this idea that casual sex is no different than casual coffee in this world, right? Like, don't take it too seriously. It's just sex. Just bodies having fun, right? No. Your body is a temple. And I don't mean that in some purity culture way. Absolutely not. I mean your body is literally a sacred vessel that holds consciousness, that creates reality, and that channels life force. Constantly you're channeling life force. And again, another conversation is, the food that we're eating, the stress that we have, the programs that we are, the spells and the curses and these toxic programs that we have from this toxic society are constantly destroying the flow of our life force. But again, this can be another hour of conversation on its own. For women, your womb space is a portal, not metaphorically, actually. Life comes through that space. Consciousness incarnates through that space. In ancient traditions, priestesses understood this. They knew the womb was a direct line to the spirit realm and to creation itself, and again to the divine mother herself, which is what we call today God, source itself. So when someone enters that space, physically, energetically, they're not just having sex with you. They're incarnating, interfacing with your creative power, with your intuition, with your life force. And whatever they're carrying comes in as well. So I've had clients in the past tell me, I felt amazing before I slept with this person, like genuinely good in the body. And the next morning I woke up with this anxiety or a fear I couldn't explain, or nightmares or whatever. Nothing bad happened during sex. The sex could have been amazing, but I felt wrong. Okay, this is like a story that I hear in different words from different people in one way or another. This is not in your head, okay? That is your system responding to an energetic mismatch. That's you processing someone else's unresolved pain. Now, let's go talk about energetic imprints and soul contracts. And let me take a sip of water before I speak about that. And yes, I bless my water before I drink it. It's a habit. So we're talking about energetic imprints and soul contracts. So sex, like eating animals, which I speak about a lot for the last 13 to 15 years. I don't remember exactly how much. It creates soul contracts. Again, read my book, Sex Magic Evolution, to learn more about that. Not in some woo-woo way where you're bound to someone forever against your will. No. But you do create an energetic cord, a connection in the subtle body that links you to that person. It is an actual union of two beings, like with what you eat. Literally, in my book, Sex Magic Evolution, I explain, because the fact that eating food is having sex, you are putting something in your body. You're allowing something to penetrate your body. When you're eating sex, every person, whether they're a man or a woman, you become the feminine. And then the food itself is the masculine force. And then you put it in, you let it penetrate and enter your body. You become one with it. It becomes a part of your DNA, your energy field, your body, your everything. So in my work, I call these soul ties, all right? And they're not inherently good or bad. A soul tie with someone who's doing their healing work, who's in their integrity, who's genuinely sees and honors you, that can be medicine. Even if you're going to just have a one-night stand, that could be actual medicine. But that could be activating for your soul. That could be illuminating, awakening. But a soul tie with someone who's in their addiction, who is running away from themselves, from their shadows, which is most human beings today, who's using sex to avoid feeling, that becomes an actual drain to your energy, an anchor, and not in a good way. I've seen this play out thousands of times. Oh my goodness, because I observe people and I observe people's energy fields, and I go to a lot of festivals. I love psytrance. Psytrance is my medicine. And I love to observe. And there's hundreds and thousands of people around me every single day. And I observe them all. And you could see, and people hook up and have sex and make out and kiss and do all these things. It's beautiful. But I could see the shift, because, if you know me and if you've been following me again, I could see energy fields and specific, and how it's hard for me to say it in words, because what I see, it's very hard to explain in words, but bottom line is I can see how the energy of the person shifts once they've united with another person. It is fucking, it's trippy. It's trippy as hell. It's like, I cannot even describe to you. I'm very grateful for this gift. And I've seen this so many times. Someone comes to me and says, I left him. This is an example. I left him 6 months ago, but I still feel him in my body. I still feel him in my heart. I know when he's thinking about me. I have dreams about him. I can't move on. This happens a lot to women. Men too, of course, but more for women. That's a soul tie that hasn't been cut off. And cutting cords isn't about hate or anger. It's about energetic sovereignty. It's about saying, I release you from my field so that we can both be free. Because if you are feeling unfree because of a soul tie, the other person is not free as well. Even let's say if they're like a evil warlock, and I did a video on warlocks recently, who consciously wanted to tie or soul to him. I'm just going to like the extreme way, but you both cannot be free. Now let's talk about something even less comfortable, energetic inheritance. When you sleep with someone, you're not just receiving their energy, you're receiving echoes of everyone they've been intimate with, especially recent partners, because they still carry those imprints. If he's been with someone who has, for example, was deeply insecure, guess what you might start feeling? Insecurity that doesn't match your lived experience. If she's been with someone manipulative, you might notice yourself suddenly being more suspicious, more guarded, right? We can't really consciously understand these things happening to us, but we don't understand how they're connected, but they are. This isn't about judgment. I'm not judging people here because we all do this. But this is about understanding that we're all walking around with these invisible imprints we don't know about, we don't see it, we're not aware of them until we consciously clear them. Now, and guess what? This applies to everyone. Men inherit this too. And in fact, men can actually inherit this a lot more than women. We're going to talk about this later. But in my work, I found that women tend to be more receptive. We're built to receive. So it's literally in our biology. So we feel exchanges more acutely. Our bodies respond more dramatically. But when men get affected, it's more hard for men to release and heal from that. It's easier for women actually to do soul, like to cut the soul ties and to cut the cords with the men. It's insane because again, the gift of the woman, because the feminine is the subconscious. We have the natural gift to look at our shadows, to work with our shadows, to work with the unseen, with magic, right? Our imagination is wider and more powerful than men. And so when men are affected, that's why, by the way, men are more easily susceptible to demonic forces, and men are the target of what I call the dark wizards, who have created a system we call patriarchy today, which I write about in my books and all of this shit. Because men, it's more easy to program and to manipulate a man than it is a woman. I said what I said. Again, I'm not going to go into another hour video about just this. If you want, I can do another video about that. But I talk about this all the time. And it's very clear if you just have the eyes to see. And if you can understand the nature of the feminine and the masculine and the men and the woman. So let's continue. So now let's talk about the physical manifestation. Your body will tell you the truth before your mind catches up. I cannot tell you how many times someone said to me, my pH is suddenly off. I'm getting infections I've never had. My cycle is irregulated. And when we track back, it started right after they became intimate with someone new. Your body is responding. It's trying to tell you this energy doesn't match me. This isn't aligned. Sometimes it's literal because like bacterial flora doesn't mesh with yours, but often it's deeper. So your system is rejecting what's being introduced on a cellular level. So this is one example of it. I had a client once whose hair started falling off. This was horrible. Her started falling off after she moved in with her partner. They actually had sex for a while before, but after she moved in with him, something happened. We worked with her for months, checked her thyroid, cortisol, everything, doctors checked all. I made sure that she gets checked up physically. And finally, in a session, she admitted, I don't feel safe with him. She admitted it. She said it out loud for the first time, but we had to go through layers of shadow before she could say it out loud. So She said, I never felt safe with him. But though I should stay because he's a good person on paper, right? Which is a lot of women get to that point a lot with a lot of men. Her body was actually screaming what her mind wouldn't acknowledge. So this is another example of your body talking to you all the fucking time, especially after sexual union with someone who is not a match for you. This isn't just about physical symptoms, okay? It's about vitality. When you're in energetic exchange with the wrong person, you lose your glow. And people start saying, are you okay? Like, you seem tired, you seem off. You look in the mirror and something is just off. Not because you've aged or changed your routine, but because your life force is being siphoned, literally siphoned. I call these people energy vampires. And before you roll your eyes, please stay with me. An energy vampire isn't always intentionally malicious, okay? Many people on the planet are energy vampires because we haven't healed our inner little boy and girl wound, and we're just walking shadows. That's basically, most humans are just walking shadows in adult bodies, not being aware that they're siphoning energy from other people. So they're unconsciously, they feed off of others. They could have shadow parts that have some needy mommy issues or a deep fear of being rejected. So sex and intimacy become their charging station. And again, this mostly is with men because the mommy wound and men makes men just want to siphon energy from women all the time, while really they don't like women or want to even understand women. So you'll know that you've been with an energy vampire when the relationship is all highs and lows. You feel amazing during sex and completely depleted after. You're constantly giving, pouring, trying to fill them up, but they're never satisfied. And you're getting smaller and dimmer while they seem just fine. Now, this is one way it can look. It can look in many different ways because energy vampires and also narcissists can act in many different ways, and they can literally appear like the knight on shining armor, however you say it in English. Like Prince Charming, you know? Take another sip. So now let's talk about the spiritual technology of sex, all right? Let's get mystical for a minute because this is where my priestess training comes in. So in Tantric tradition, which by the way, I don't teach Tantra. I tell this to all my clients too. I do not teach Tantra. What I teach is a lot deeper, a lot older, and a lot more ancient from the original temples of Isis and Lilith, which again, if you want to know what these temples are, I write about it in my books. You can read The Last Priestess to read the story of the fall of the temple and Solomon. You can read The Last Priestess, even if you're a man. Yes, if you want to really understand women, read the Sex Priestess Manual, It's a huge book. It's basically like three or maybe 10 online courses, actually. It's a freaking huge book. And I could have made it into online course for hundreds of dollars, but I did not want to. I wanted to make it affordable for everyone. It's $66, and people say it's too expensive. It's not, guys. It's not. The value you get from this book, I promise you, it's not. And again, I don't make all the money from the book. You have to remember, I work really hard. And if you want to support my work, please buy the books, write a review. You know, if you love the book. If you don't love the book, write to me. But these books, I promise you, will give you so much, at least basic information. They will open your mind in ways that you didn't understand before. So again, going back to my traditions and what I teach but I'm going to talk a little bit about the Tantric tradition that we know in our modern society, in Taoist sexual practices as well, in sacred sexuality work across cultures. There is an understanding that orgasm is a portal. So we all know that orgasm, well, not all of us, but some of us know orgasm is a portal, again, as I write in my books. It's a moment when the veil between worlds is the thinnest. So during orgasm, your entire energetic body opens. Your energy centers, they get open, but they get thinner, they get diluted almost. Your aura expands. In that moment, you're incredibly receptive to both blessings and harm. And you're also incredibly powerful. You can manifest, you can heal, you can transmute energy, you can release pain, but you can also take on what you don't want from the other person. So it's a catch. This is why intentions matter. This is why presence matter. When you're having unconscious sex, like drunk, checked out, just going through the motions. You're leaving the gates open with no guardian, so anything can basically walk through. This is, again, something that is really important that I teach in my Sex Priestess initiation, like in level 3, because we really need to understand how to work with our sexual energy and transmute it. In the state that I'm going to give you an example. In the state that I'm in right now, in my initiation and working with my powers, I can basically have sex with everyone and anyone, even the darkest person, and I'll be able to transmute it into fucking light and power. But I still don't do that because why would I even put myself in that situation? I know that I'm capable of it. I know that nothing can harm me, but I also love myself too much to do that. Why would I put myself, in Hebrew, we have a saying, why would you put your healthy head in a sick bed? There's no point to do that. But when you're having conscious sex, like actually conscious, when both people are present and intentional and clean your body. If I'm dating a man, he has to clean his body from animal products, from alcohol, and also be monogamous because he has to work with my energy. We have to transmute something together. So when there's genuine care and reverence, right? Like you want to connect. We all humans just want to be loved and love and connect behind all the ego and bullshit. That's what we all want. That's when magic happens. That's when you can clear old patterns, when you can activate new possibilities, when you can literally rewire your nervous system through pleasure. So I work with couples who now, after initiation, use sex as a healing modality, not in some performative way, but genuinely. They set intentions before they're intimate. Hopefully, if they're doing their homework better, they clear their space energetically. They're aware that what they're doing is sacred technology, but not just recreation. And for my solo practitioners, yes, this applies to self-pleasure too. Your relationship with your own body, your own pleasure, your own life force is the foundation for everything else. If you don't access your erotic energy alone in safety with full permission as you're working with your shadows as well, you're going to struggle to access in a healthy way with others. Again, to really know about that for women, read my the Sex Priestess Manual. And then, you can play with the other book, Symbols of Sex Magic is a really fun, easy, light book that can help you play with symbols during sex, for example. So every book will take you to a kind of a different dimension. And there's a new book coming soon. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm in the last process of editing it. Now let's talk about karma, frequency, and attraction. So the law of attraction, but not the wishy-washy version that you see on Instagram. I'm talking about real energetic magnetism and real karma. Every thought, word, and action and belief that you hold has a frequency. That frequency broadcasts out into the field and it attracts back to you experiences that match it. This is not punishment or reward from the universe. It's just physics. It's resonance. It's actually the union that you have with the cosmos, with the universe, with everyone else. We are always having sex. I speak about it. I teach this in my Sex Magic Evolution book. Every breath you take is sex. When I breathe in, I am the feminine. I am allowing the masculine to penetrate me. When I breathe out, I am the masculine and I am penetrating the universe itself. So again, explore this. And where have you been? Okay. So if their dominant frequency is shame, for example, your partner, guess what you're going to start feeling? If their frequency is abundance and joy, that becomes available to you as well. I've watched people's entire lives shift after they started sleeping with someone new. This over and over again throughout my life. Even before I've been doing this work, when I was a little girl, I've always watched, I've always observed, I've always known what sexual energy is. And I've always observed the life force of people around me. It's madness. Sometimes it happens for the better. Opportunities appear, old blocks clearing, sudden clarity. And sometimes for the worse. Most times, unfortunately, it's for the worse because most times people just don't have sex consciously. So it creates chaos and loss and everything falling apart inside themselves. This is, again, it's not about blaming the other person. Most human beings are just not aware of themselves at all. It's about understanding that you're literally taking on their karmic patterns when you merge with them intimately. If they've been operating from scarcity, you might suddenly notice your money situation getting weird. If they've been in a like a fight mode with their family, you might notice that your relationships are getting tense. The good news is this works both ways. When you're with someone who's genuinely doing their work, who's in their power, who's operating from love instead of fear, you level up, you rise together. The relationship becomes a catalyst for both of your evolutions. And this is why discernment matters so much. It's, again, not judgment, but discernment. Who is this person? Like, before you want to have sex with them, who is this person? What are they working on? What's their relationship with themselves? Are they kind? Do they have good moral? Like, and let's talk about morals. Like, do they have good morals? Do they care about other people? Are they selfish and just care about themselves? It's all about, like, I just recently was with this guy, and like, I really wanted to have sex with him. Like, really, really, really. After a long time, I didn't have sex. And I was like, this person is very, very selfish. He only cares about himself. Now, I am aware that there's a part of me, because I live for service. I live in an extremely kind way. Like, my integrity and my values are insane for most people. And all I do is I want to serve, and I want to save the animals and save the children and like serve humanity and awaken everyone. And I am attracted. There's a shadow part in me that is attracted to his selfishness, because there's a part of me that's like, fuck it, humans are stupid. I just want to be selfish and not think about anyone else. And I'm fucking tired of serving everyone and getting nothing in return and just being tired and exhausted. And humans are stupid and they're just ruining each other and hurting the animals. And I'm like, okay, so that's a shadow part in me. And that's why I'm attracted to that in him. But once you're aware of it, you're like, okay, that's what it is. That's the attraction. I don't actually want to be selfish. I choose to be a person who loves and cares and wants to serve everyone. So I am not going to have a sexual intercourse with this person, even though I really want to. I'm still human. I want intimacy, of course, but this is not the energy that I want to embody within myself. This is not my mission. This is not my purpose. And so I am an adult person who is aware of my shadows, and I'm going to choose consciously not to do that, right? So this is the work we all have to do. It's never going to be perfect. It's just, how aware are we in any moment? And can we work with sexual desire and not fall for this illusion that if I'm sexually attracted to someone, that means I need them, or they're the love of my life, or I need to have sex with them. That doesn't work like that. All right, another sip of water, guys. Okay, so what do you do with all this information? First, you stop beating yourself up for past choices. Seriously, guys. The shame spiral helps no one. You did what you did with the awareness you had at that time. Now you know more. Second, you start getting really honest about your patterns, not the other people around you, your patterns. Who are you attracted to and why? What are you hoping sex will give you? Validation, safety, proof of your worthiness. Because guess what? Sex can't fill those holes. Only you can do that work. Third, you practice energetic hygiene. Just like you shower your physical body, cleanse your physical body. Hopefully you are cleansing your physical body also with the food you're eating. You need to clear your energetic body. This looks differently for everyone, but it's great to do salt baths, visualizations, breath work, sound healing. Even just going to the gym can cleanse your body. Just breathing deeper, working with a practitioner, dancing, swimming in the ocean. It can be so many things. It just depends on you. Find what works for you and make it a practice and make it a ritual. Especially for women, we need more ritual in our daily life. So for me, after intimacy, I always do a clearing. I consciously release anything that's not mine to carry. I call my energy back from everywhere that I have left it. I seal my field. Again, this is not something I can talk about in the video. This isn't about being closed off. It's about being sovereign and protecting myself. And this is self-love, really. Fourth, you work on your own relationship with your sexuality. What does pleasure mean to you? Answer these questions, really. What does your body want versus what you've been conditioned to perform? When do you feel most alive in your erotic self? Start with these questions. And maybe you can use even ChatGPT to, if ChatGPT knows you, and this is like a new thing that we can work with now, right? Like using it as a new tool. Because when I work with people, I ask them the questions because I can see their shadows and then I work with their shadows and I ask the questions that their shadows need me to ask them. I mirror their shadows. But because I'm not with you and you're all alone, if you're not working with a therapist or a practitioner, ask ChatGPT, hey, give me some questions because I want to discover my sexuality and my deep shadow beliefs about my sexuality. Work with that. Answer these questions. Journal about that. What kind of soul ties are you willing to create, right? What frequency do you want your intimate life to broadcast? Like this, we can have endless questions. So here's what I want you to walk away understanding from this video. Your sexual energy is your life force energy. It's not separate. And when you reclaim your sexuality, when you approach it with consciousness and care, everything else in your life shifts. This work isn't about becoming celibate or fearful of intimacy. It's about becoming powerful in your intimacy. It's about understanding that every exchange matters and every merger is sacred, and you get to choose what you allowed into your field. You are not damaged by your past experiences. You are not tainted or broken or less than. And in fact, my Sex Priestess initiation, I teach you to celebrate even the so-called bad past choices and experiences and harness them to your own advantage. And if you don't want to work with me, buy the sex magic. Buy the Sex Priestess Manual book. I have so many books and I just forget their name. It's again huge book. I'll show it to you in a minute. So the beautiful thing about energy is it can be cleared and it can be transmuted, even if the energy cannot be cleared. Because I say it all the time, most energy from sex cannot be cleared ever. It's stuck in your DNA forever. But you can use it. You can transmute it if your body is clean enough. You cannot have dead animals inside of it because that is blood sacrifice and it lowers your frequency. I'm going to say it to my last day on earth. And so you have to cleanse your body. You cannot transmute sexual energy with death and suffering and low frequency in your body. That's not going to work. I don't know how to say it more clearly. But it can be worked with. So cords can be cut, new patterns can be established, etc. Whether you're currently with a partner or single or exploring or anywhere in between, this invitation is for you to slow down, to be present, to honor the power of your body and your energy, and to stop giving yourself away carelessly just to anyone and start sharing yourself intentionally. Your sexuality is medicine, my friend. Your pleasure is power. Your body is a temple. It's not just a pretty word. Not because I say so, but because it's true. You've always known it. And I'm talking to men as well. Your body is a channel of light. Treat it as such. Honor and respect yourself, and honor and respect the women and the temples that you want to penetrate and you want to unite with. Men have forgotten honor, and humans have forgotten sacredness. So you've always known this. Like, I know that you know this in your heart. I'm just reminding you of the truth. You just maybe forgotten it for a while because, you've lived in this dark spell that made you forget for a very long time who you are. So this is your reminder, your permission slip, your wake-up call, however you want to call it. The work continues from here. If it resonates, sit with it, journal with it, notice what comes up in your body and reflect about it. And if you want to go deeper, you are welcome to work with me. Read one of my books. Go to motherisrising.com and you can apply for an initiation or a ceremony, or just start with one of my books, like I said. I love you all so much. I hope this inspired you to remember who you are and to really come back to sacredness, which is really all I want for humanity again, because I know that we can rise and we can do it better. I love you all so much, and I will see you next time. Please subscribe, like, and share so I can continue making these videos and share the work of the temple. And may the goddess bless you all.